Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gordon Frayne, and today we're jumping in to talk about real world assets, tokenization, and Mantra crypto. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit that subscribe button as well, and if you want to get notified about similar videos, make sure to smash that bell notification icon, and don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's going to be linked in the description below. Grab it while it's free. It is my gift to you, and let's get into the video. So, as mentioned, we are talking about Mantra crypto today, and we can't talk about Mantra without understanding the whole concept of real world asset tokenization, because Mantra is focusing on solving this problem of real world asset tokenization in a blockchain first world. And when we talk about RWA tokenization on the channel, we always reference this report that was created by Roland Berger, the consulting firm. And it's basically their estimate as to how the real world asset tokenization space is set to grow between now and the year 2030. So as you can see, they're estimating the size of tokenized assets in an on-chain manner will reach at least 10.9 trillion US dollars by the year 2030, with real estate, debt, and investment funds being the top three tokenized assets. You can see the exponential growth that they are estimating is going to happen over the course of the next few years here. We can see we're here at about 0.6 trillion in 2024, set to grow exponentially all the way up to just under 11 trillion by the time we hit the year 2030. So most of the blockchains that we're using in today's world, like Ethereum, Mantle, Ondo, etc., they're trying to solve this problem of building out the infrastructure that is going to allow us move towards this world where we have almost $11 trillion worth of assets tokenized on blockchain technology. Again, if we jump over to the Dune dashboard here, we can actually get a look at the different narratives within the crypto space that have been the best performing narratives of the year 2024 thus far. And we can see that RWA, real world assets, has been one of the best performing narratives thus far in 2024. A lot of this is thanks to the fact that BlackRock, the world's leading asset manager, launched a BUIDL fund on Ethereum specifically for asset tokenization back in March of this year, and they've been significantly growing the amount of assets that have been tokenized on chain since March, and we'll check out a chart for that in a moment. But much of the RWA tokenization narrative is being driven by asset managers like BlackRock, making big moves to start tokenizing treasuries, bonds, and other assets on Ethereum and other blockchains just like Mantra. And we're continuing to see large inflows of capital into Ethereum, Ondo, Mantra, and these other RWA tokenization blockchains. Again, BlackRock and Larry Fink especially is actually on the record stating that he believes the spot Bitcoin ETF is actually somewhat of a stepping stone towards this world where we are going to be having the absolute tokenization of every single asset in an on-chain manner. If we jump over to rwa.xyz, this is a dashboard that gives us an overview on how the entire real-world asset tokenization space is growing. They curate data across multiple different blockchains and across multiple different asset types and show us all of that data. And you can see just how much we have had in terms of growth here in terms of asset tokenization since the beginning of 2024 with a global market overview. We can see that that's mostly broken out into private credit, US Treasury debt, commodities, and corporate bonds. What we can also do is jump into US Treasuries here, and we can also see just how we mentioned that fund from BlackRock, their BUIDL fund. You can see how we went from $40 million of tokenized treasuries back in March here, all the way up to over, let me just move my camera here, all the way up to over 513 million worth of tokenized treasuries in the BlackRock BUIDL fund alone. You can see all of the different funds on this list here from various different asset managers and just how much growth we've seen in 2024 here with the increasing amount of assets being tokenized on chain. Again, stable coins is another big area that we're seeing a lot of movement in terms of increasing asset tokenization on chain for stable coins, growing again 2.02% in the past 30 days alone. So moving our focus back to Mantra, as I said, Mantra is one of the blockchains that is basically trying to create the infrastructure and lay down the tracks that is going to allow us and asset managers to continue to tokenize assets on the blockchain. So again, we're seeing them building out the technology and building out the infrastructure as a security-first real-world asset layer 1 blockchain capable of adherence to real-world regulatory requirements. Again, a big part of what we're seeing with at least this initial move for real-world asset tokenization on chain is the fact that asset managers need to have very clear regulation for tokenizing treasuries and tokenizing bonds in a blockchain manner. And again, Mantra and other platforms and blockchains like Ondo that are tackling the real world asset narrative are doing all of this in a very regulatory friendly way. So they're creating the on-ramp and the infrastructure to allow asset managers tokenize all of these treasuries, bonds, real estate, etc. in a very regulated and above the board fashion. If we jump over and look at Mantra's price action over the course of the past few years, we can see that we did have Mantra actually get up to a little bit of a peak here around 72 cents during the 2021 crypto bull cycle in March of 2021 before retracing significantly. And we had a very, very big bear market here for Mantra. And then since the beginning of this year, and really riding on the coattails of this entire real world asset narrative, Mantra has had a very big increase in terms of price action. Again, if we just zoom out or zoom into the 1 year price action for Mantra over the course of the past 12 months, you could have been buying the dip down here around this 1 to 2 cent level as recently of Q2, Q3, Q4 of last year in 2023, before we really saw Mantra take off over the course of the past 6 months or so. We've gone over 4,600% of an increase for Mantra over the past 1 year time frame. So very big moves to the upside for Mantra. We can see that we've currently got a circulating supply of about 836 million Ohm tokens out of a total supply of 888 million. We have an overall market cap of about 869 million, which makes it the 70th largest cryptocurrency by overall market cap. Ondo, its most prominent competitor, is slightly larger in terms of market cap, I think sitting around the $1 billion mark. But Mantra has been riding the coattails of this RWA narrative and putting in some very healthy price action over the course of the past year. Again, we can see the chart here. This is the Mantra to USD chart. We can see very big parabolic movement since we hit this 2024 mark here in January of this year. This is the weekly chart, and we can see just how much growth we've had week over week for Mantra over the course of 2024 thus far. And if we look at the Mantra to Bitcoin chart as well, we know that Bitcoin has performed pretty well over the past year or so as we have moved through this halving event year for Bitcoin. But Mantra has even outperformed Bitcoin by a factor of over 1,200% since the beginning of January this year. We can see that if we take the chart here and just move it into January, we can see that we've got parabolic price action to the upside for Mantra, outperforming Bitcoin by a factor of about 1,200%. So Mantra has been performing very, very well in 2024 thus far. Again, as we mentioned, laying down the infrastructure for how we get from 0.6 trillion to 10.9 trillion. And, they're creating the blockchain rails for asset managers and institutions to continue to tokenize real estate, debt instruments, investment funds, bonds, treasuries, etc. in a very regulatory friendly manner. Again, we've done other videos about asset tokenization on the channel. You can check them out, but there's a number of benefits to do with asset tokenization in an on-chain manner, and the likes of BlackRock and these other asset managers serve to benefit in the long run if they can get all these assets tokenized on chain. It does increase efficiency. It also increases liquidity, makes those assets more transparent, and also for retail investors also makes them more accessible. But what BlackRock and other asset managers will be seeking is increased efficiencies, increased liquidity, and increased cost savings as a result of the combination of these two. So that is our overview of Mantra and just what it's doing in terms of real world asset tokenization on the blockchain. It has been a very big performer over the course of 2024 thus far, as we can see from the price action, and riding on the coattails of all of this real world asset narrative hype that we mentioned a few minutes ago. Huge amounts of attention being put on RWA tokenization in the year 2024, and I think we're going to see that continue over the course of the next few months. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below. Let us know, are you holding Mantra as part of your bull run portfolio? Are you bullish on Mantra? And would you like to see us put together a price prediction for Mantra and where we see it going by the peak of the bull cycle? Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to get notified about similar videos, smash that thumbs up button below and hit the notification icon, and don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's in the description below. Grab it while it's free, and as always, we'll catch you in the next one.